Eugene, Oregon. Hayward Field, track's holy ground, the mecca of American track and field. History is etched in these lanes. They've traveled here from far and wide, collegians with the same dream, the same goal, faster, higher, stronger. To be better than the best, to be crowned an NCAA champion. USC's Angela Williams eyes an unprecedented three-peat in the 100. Multi-talented Michelle Perry carries UCLA's high hopes. TCU senior Kim Collins has one last shot at a title, while the future is limitless for Tennessee freshman Justin Gatlin. It's all next.
Welcome to this gorgeous part of the United States of America. We're in the Pacific Northwest in the city of Eugene, Oregon. And we're on the campus of the University of Oregon at Hayward Field, a mecca of track and field in this country over the years. And this weekend, for the 9th time since 1962, the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships are being held at this venue. Temperature and the wind conditions very significant. The first 2 days of the event, temperatures were in the upper 80s, but a cold front blew through. And as we begin the final day of competition, we have a temperature of 60 degrees and a wind out of the west, which might affect things, currently at about 15 miles per hour. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, along with Carol Lewis and Dwight Stones. We welcome you to Eugene and the men's and women's 2001 Track and Field Championship. And Dwight, let's first take a look at what you think might happen in the women's team event.
Well, Vern, for the third time in a month, both USC and UCLA will hook up. In the dual meet, UCLA won by 6. At the conference meet, they just won by 2. Many believe that USC is finally in position to win their first national championship on the women's side. They are led by junior, 2-time defending 100-meter champion Angela Williams. She also won a silver medal at the World Indoor Championships earlier this year. And on the UCLA side, Michelle Perry is all over the track and field all week long, getting points for UCLA. It's likely the meet will come down to the final event, the 4x400 meter relay for women, to determine exactly who the national champion will be.
All right, Dwight, this is essentially a West Coast competition for the women's team championship. Carol, how do you assess things on the men's side?
Well, for the past 10 years, distance powers have taken away this championship, but this time the sprinters will take center stage. University of Tennessee and TCU are the ones to watch. From the University of Tennessee, Justin Gatlin, the freshman, has taken a lot upon his shoulders, and TCU, with Kim Collins, the Olympian, is in the 100 and the 200 meters, and he is favored to win both of those events.
All right, Carol, thank you. Let's take a look at how the scoring breaks down. 10 points are awarded for a first place finish in every event, all the way down to 1 point awarded for an 8th place finish. And now, time to look back at how the competition unfolded in the first 3 days of the men's side of things.
First day, first event, the 10-event decathlon, an early showdown between Tennessee and LSU.
Day one, man. Get it started, get it started.
LSU's Claston Menard was the prohibitive favorite, but his meet ended shortly after the first gun. Victim of a strained hamstring, the trainers attempted to help Menard continue, but he failed to report for the long jump competition in time and was disqualified.
We're not asking for the first attempt.
It would be if he passed, but he wasn't here to pass.
A protest was lodged, but ultimately denied.
Our biggest concern, of course, is how bad and how Claston is doing right now. Things happen for a reason, and this one could be one of those situations.
That left the door open for Oregon's own Lorenzo Santiago to do battle with Tennessee's Stephen Harris. A spirited first day left Harris with a 254-point bulge over the hometown favorite.
Harris was a key piece in the Vols title puzzle. Santiago, the Buenos Aires native, was competing for individual glory and school pride. They battled back and forth for 2 days under searing skies and record temperatures hovering around 90 degrees.
But in the end, it was Santiago, inspired by an assistant coach shouting his favorite quote from the movie Gladiator, "Strength and honor." He brought both to the Ducks, becoming Oregon's first ever decathlon champion.
With LSU's hopes already dashed and buoyed by Harris's second-place finish in the decathlon, Tennessee geared up for a showdown with another title contender, TCU in the 4x1.
It's going to be Leonard Scott for Tennessee and Kim Collins for TCU. Leonard Scott for Tennessee. Here comes Collins. Collins flies by and Collins wins it.
How does this affect the team race psychologically? Tennessee, your biggest rival.
Well, it affects it a lot because from what happened last year, the team really needed it. So now we feel much more confident now that we could win the title.
Well, Scott's confidence must have been shattered. One of the favorites in the Open 100, the Tennessee junior failed to qualify for the final, costing the Vols valuable team points.
Now let's check the current standings in the men's team competition. Oregon with 27 points, but they are out of competitors. None left in the events. Baylor currently second. Tennessee is third, and TCU co-favored with the Volunteers. The Horned Frogs currently with 16 points. And on the track, it's time now for the men's 110-meter hurdles finals. Ronaldo Nehemiah with the collegiate record of 13 seconds flat. Aubrey Herring of Indiana State with this year's fastest time among the collegians, and he is running in this event.
Out of lane 3, a race that doesn't impact the team standings at all, but certainly a great event for the U.S. Aubrey Herring, a senior, runner-up to Terrence Trammell last year. Of course, Trammell winning a silver medal at the Olympic Games.
And right next to him from Alabama, senior Ron Bramlett.
And he's been fourth the past 2 years, and he looked absolutely outstanding yesterday in his semifinal heat.
And in lane 5, Dwight, Aaron Watkins.
The Pac-10 champion really has come into his own this final year. First time he's ever been in this NCAA final. He looks like he's in a position to steal it.
Now let's check the lane assignments for the 110-meter hurdles finals. Lane 1, Bashir Ramsey of A&M, Jermaine Cooper of Texas in 2, then Herring, Bramlett, Aaron Watkins. Running in lane 6, Ryan Wilson of USC. Lane 7, Thavius Nelson of Wisconsin, and Winston Riley of Southern Miss in lane 8. Quick start in the middle for Bramlett. Herring running in lane 3. And there's a fall, and now in the middle, Ron Bramlett being contested on the outside by Ramsey, but Bramlett of Alabama wins it.
Well, I'll tell you, we talked about the wind in the hurdle race. The wind can either push you too close to the hurdles, or it could keep you away from them. And obviously in this race, the wind was a factor. 3 men went down in this particular race, and Bramlett right in the middle, who looked very good yesterday in his semifinal heat, was the one who was able to kind of pick his way through this race and win it.
It's a real curse to be a tall athlete in these hurdles. A lot of people think that you need to be tall to run hurdles. About 6 feet tall is the maximum in situations like this. Bramlett, a shorter hurdler than on the left of his, Aaron Watkins, who's 6'4". He hits the ground hard when he misses this 5th hurdle, I believe. Also on the other side, Aubrey Herring takes a nasty fall as well. Bramlett keeps his composure, stays focused on his set of hurdles, even though he clips a couple. But when all was said and done, 3 of the men in this race did not make it to the finish line.
Well, what happens is you get on the outside of Bramlett right in the center, hurdles start going, and you can see it out of the corner of your eye. You know what's going on. Right there, he, falling over, knocking the hurdle into another lane, and there's almost nothing you can do at that point.
Bramlett strolls in with the victory as 2 of the 3 favorites hit the surface. The time for Bramlett of 13:54. So through the 110-meter hurdles final, here are the current team standings. Oregon 27 points. A&M now moves into 2nd. Alabama 3rd. Tennessee is 6th. And TCU trails for the moment. We'll return to Hayward Field in Eugene. More of the NCAA championships after this.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships is sponsored by Pontiac Driving Excitement and your local Pontiac dealers. Strata Golf Balls, switch, lower your scores. And by One-A-Day multivitamins and herbal supplements. They're just what you need to feel your best.
Gotta be a Grand Prix driver.
The Pontiac Grand Prix with wide track handling. Its wheels are set wide for better control and grip in the curves. Wider is better.
That was great.
Let's play one more.
Oh, too tired.
One more, come on.
New One-A-Day Active, the energy-enhancing multivitamin.
Hey, you want to play one?
Just one?
One-A-Day. Get active, stay active.
America Online. It's so easy.
Click and giddy up.
Send emails fast.
Instant messages are so much fun.
A lot of people on my buddy list.
Ding. Chat, instant messages. That fast.
AOL has got it all.
So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call now.
So easy.
You have reached a gecko. You probably wanted Geico, which could save you hundreds on car insurance. Don't be embarrassed. Happens all the time. Have a nice day.
Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Car insurance bills getting too hot to handle? Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Being on tour today means being on your game every day. You need that something extra, and I just found it.
Introducing Stratotour Ultimate, the only ball with a tungsten energy core. Moves the ball's weight to the center, creating greater energy from club to ball for more combined distance and spin than any other ball in its class. Stratotour Ultimate, long off the driver, accurate off the irons, and always putts true.
There's no other ball like it, so switch to Strata and lower your scores.
CBS Sports comes bursting out of the gate with the 113th running of the Brooklyn Handicap. Live from Belmont Park, next on CBS.
Welcome back to Eugene for the men's and women's NCAA track and field championships. And let's go down to the field to introduce the fourth member of our commentary team. Here's Armin Kateya.
Thanks, Vern. You know, it's a little chilly down here today, but I can tell you one thing for certain. There's nothing cool about the rivalry between the two top teams in women's track and field.
In Los Angeles, LA could well stand for laid-back attitude, a style-over-substance playland where nobody likes to rub anybody the wrong way, except when it comes to a couple of crosstown rivals.
The rivalry is intense. I mean, you have two institutions who have two great programs that are nationally ranked, and we're so close in proximity. And it's not just track and field, it's all sports.
The rivalry between UCLA and USC has grown over the years, especially in women's track and field.
The rivalry between USC and UCLA is among the most storied in college sport, played out by men for decades, and now extending to these women, the top two track and field teams in the country.
When UCLA dual meet comes around, it's really intense.
When you go out there on the field, you want to rip their heart out. You're just like, you've got to beat them.
The bad blood between the Bruins and Trojans began to boil earlier this year. First, UCLA barely won their dual meet. Then a controversial bump in the final event of the conference championship cost USC the Pac-10 title.
This year would just be great if we can come out with a victory over UCLA. I know it'll be a tough time for everybody, but I hope we win.
The stakes couldn't be higher this time around, UCLA racing towards its first NCAA team title since claiming the first two women's crowns way back in 1982-83. USC looking to avenge last year's crushing second-place finish.
It just happens that both of us are well-balanced programs, and both of us have a chance, and naturally we would like to win. We'd like to win very badly.
There's still a camaraderie there after the meet's over. We all shake, hug.
I've been on a lot of teams with a lot of those people at UCLA. So, you know, we're friends, and also we're not friends because you go to a different school.
UCLA and USC friends? Nah, nobody in this town would touch that script.
You know, adding some spice to this rivalry is the fact that USC, like so many schools now in the NCAA, has turned to recruiting in Eastern Europe, while UCLA has really relied on American talent, all of which was on display the first 3 days of this competition.
Thanks, Armin. With Angela Williams running leadoff and anchor Kinshasa Davis, a couple of homegrown Trojans, helped the women of Troy to a second-place finish in the 4x100-meter relay and 8 valuable team points. But it was the Eastern Bloc contingent that did a lot of the early heavy lifting.
Russia's Tatiana Obakova, 10th a year ago in the triple, leaped to a third-place finish this year with a jump of 43.1. Inga Stasojante, a 19-year-old freshman from Lithuania, won the javelin with a toss of 172 feet, 4 inches. A year ago, Slovenia's Brigitte Langerholtz finished 8th in the 800 meters, effectively costing the Trojans the team title. But this year, victory and redemption.
Senior from Slovenia running for the University of Southern California, Brigitte Langerholtz makes amends for the disappointment of a year ago.
I'm so happy finally. I did what I'm capable to do, because last year I had such a bad luck. And that's why I'm more happy this year.
So close a year ago, the Trojans had the look of a champion through the first 3 days.
You're riding on the merry-go-round, it's time to grab the brass ring. You don't get those opportunities many times, either in your career or does a coach or his staff. Enjoy it while you can, and take advantage of it while you can.
UCLA's title hopes got off to a rough start on the track. Sloppy stick work between Hasabi Roseby and Sheena Johnson on the first exchange of the 4x1 left the Bruins out of the final, and with no points. Things went from bad to worse for the freshman Johnson. She failed to qualify for the finals in the 400-meter hurdles, an event in which she was favored.
Shaniqua Ross whipped the disc to a third-place finish and 6 points. As usual, the Lady Bruin field event athletes are the backbone of the team. 2001 is no exception. Christina Tolson won the shot with a toss of 57 feet, 3/4 of an inch. Tracy O'Hara, the collegiate record holder in the pole vault and the defending champion, managed only a tie for second place, but did grab 7 points for the team to keep the Bruins in contention.
Now let's check the current team standings in the women's side of the event. USC with 40 points, UCLA with 35, Arkansas 25, and Arizona 24. And time now for the women's 400-meter race. The women's 400 meters. And the fastest collegiate time of the year, Mickey Barber of South Carolina with a time of 50.63. She is in this event running in lane 7, and this, Carol, is a huge race for South Carolina.
Very huge race for South Carolina. Mickey will be running this race, the 400. She will also be running in the 200 meters and the 4x4 before the day is out. Now, this woman was on the Olympic team as an alternate in the 4x400 meter relay for Sydney, and also I think it makes it a little difficult to come back and run the collegiate season, because remember, the Olympic Games was only over in October. She didn't have a lot of time off to take a nice break like usual.
She runs in lane 7, and next to her, Demetria Washington from South Carolina.
3 juniors from South Carolina in this race, the Barber twins as well as Demetria Washington, 5 feet 10 inches tall. That could be a problem in these windy conditions. South Carolina has to finish very well. They went 1-2 last year, Barber and Washington. Taking those spots, they've got to do it again here.
Here's the field. Melissa Barber of South Carolina in lane 2. Allison Beckford of Rice with the fastest qualifying time runs in lane 5.
Beckford only a freshman, but could definitely throw a wrench in the works if she takes one of those South Carolina girls out of the top 3 spots.
Beckford in 5, 2 South Carolina women in 6 and 7. Washington and Barber, and the twin sister, Melissa Barber, runs in lane 2.
Well, Melissa Barber, who's in lane 2, they didn't realize that she was even going to make this final, so that was an added bonus. Right now, Demetria Washington and Mickey Barber running right together, and Allison Beckford right on their tail.
This is a bit of a disadvantage for the 2 South Carolina athletes to be out on the outside. They don't really have a lot to draw off of, and Beckford is making a nice move in the final turn.
Beckford running in lane 5, representing Rice. It's Barber and Washington running in 6 and 7. And Allison Beckford, the freshman from Westmoreland, Jamaica, has the lead. She closes in. It's Washington racing for second. Barber tries to hold on for third and doesn't get it.
Now, this is so typical of athletes coming back from a late Olympic Games. We saw it in 1989 after the Games in Seoul that went late beginning of October. We're seeing it again after Sydney. The Rice freshman, a very well-run, intelligent race. The time not great, in large part due to the conditions here. It got very windy just as that 400 meters started. But so many of the Olympians that we've seen in this meet just have not been able to perform up to their expected level because last year was such a long season.
You know, it really is a long season, and I don't think a lot of athletes realize how much rest they have to take. Also, it was a long trip to Sydney. You take a look at the screen right now. There's Beckford, the back of your screen in the blue. Demetria Washington from South Carolina, Mickey Barber from South Carolina. Right now, Beckford decides it's time to put the pedal to the metal. She makes an incredible move coming into the home stretch. She has been behind the two South Carolina girls until this point. This is their first opportunity to get a look at her, and the first thing they see is her blow by them in a very fantastic fashion, and she is well within herself. She's very relaxed and is in control of the race. Mickey Barber struggling, and Demetria Washington trying to close but unable to.
And the results of the women's 400. Allison Beckford, the freshman from Rice, captures first. Washington of South Carolina second. But Robinson of Texas moved in to take third, with Mickey Barber finishing fourth. And her twin sister, Melissa, with a sixth place finish. So 16 points for South Carolina. Not as many as they had hoped for. The champion, Allison Beckford of Rice. The current women's standings, USC still on top, UCLA 5 points back, Rice now with 26, and the Razorbacks of Arkansas with 25. We'll return to the NCAA men's and women's track and field championships after this.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love
Millions have experienced the power.
I will celebrate. Sing to the Lord, sing to the Lord.
Millions have experienced the glory.
Celebrate, Jesus, celebrate.
Presenting Songs for Worship, the best praise and worship songs of all time.
Shout to the Lord on the earth, let us sing. Power and majesty.
You'll hear your favorite Christian artists and worship leaders. Rich Mullins, Twyla Paris, Don Moen, Delirious. Get Songs for Worship on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes for just $12.99. Bring the praise and worship experience into your home. These are songs that will last a lifetime. Then audition other praise and worship albums. Satisfaction guaranteed. So call now for Songs for Worship.
To order Songs for Worship, use your credit card and call 1-800-537-5100. That's 1-800-537-5100. Or send $12.99 for 2 CDs or 2 cassettes, plus $3.99 shipping and handling to Songs for Worship, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280.
This fall, go behind the locked doors of the CIA in a new series from Hollywood's #1 action director. The Agency, CBS Thursday this fall.
Welcome back to Eugene, and time now for the men's 400-meter dash. Quincy Watts, the collegiate record holder, 44 flat. Best time this year, Avard Moncour of Auburn, and Dwight, he runs in lane 5.
The senior from the Bahamas, 6 feet 5 inches tall, and very much the way in the women's race with Demetria Washington. Being tall today in the cold and the wind is a problem. The women's race was won with the slowest time in 20 years.
And next to Avard Moncour, Alain Francis from LSU.
Yes, the junior college champion last year. In fact, ran an outstanding leg at the indoor NCAA championships to take his team to the win, and has run against Moncour a lot in the SEC, so he knows what he has to deal with.
And the lane assignments now for the men's 400 meter. Otto Modibo of Clemson in 1, Tom Girding of Minnesota 2, Chris Brown of Norfolk State in 3, Gino White of Florida in 4, then Moncour and Francique, Godfrey Herring representing Middle Tennessee State in 7. And on the outside, Brandon Couts, the senior from Baylor.
Gentlemen, on your marks.
You know, we talked about this competition coming down to the sprinters, and this could not be worse weather for sprinters to actually compete in. It's been raining this past weekend, and the thing is when you're trying to warm up, it's very difficult to warm up because you get a little bit damp, and it's very tough to stay warm and ready to run fast.
Moncour running in lane 5, Francique in 6, and on the outside, keep your eyes on Brandon Couts running in the green of Baylor. He's currently in first place. That's Couts to the left.
Couts is doing a great job of rabbiting this field. It's great for the runners inside of him, which is the entire field, to see what he's doing. But now we see Avad Moncour finally starting to make a move as he enters the final turn.
And Alain Francique of LSU trying to keep stride, but Moncour moves up. And coming off the final turn, Avad Moncour has a lead, trying to stretch it out. Francique in second, but he's getting a battle from Gino White of Florida. White will finish third. Moncour wins it, and Couts was running in lane 8.
Unofficially 44.84, so much for having a problem with the weather, even though he's from the Bahamas and Auburn. He comes back and wins the title for the second year in a row. A very well-run, smart, even race. He had Brandon Couts out there. Moncour, number 5, 6 feet 5 inches tall in the final turn. Look at how smooth he is, completely focused, knows exactly what he needs to do. Defending champion where it was a lot warmer at Duke last year, Carol.
I'll tell you, Moncour is running very well, and it seemed like Francique was actually waiting for him to pass him in order for him to start in the race. But just take a look at how comfortable he is. He's so relaxed. There was no one who was going to touch him today.
And the official results in the men's 400 meter. Moncour of Auburn finishes first. Francique of LSU was second, and Gino White of Florida grabs third. Now the current team standings in the men's event: Oregon 27, Baylor 26.5 points now, Tennessee still with 21, and TCU with 16. And there is a very satisfied Avad Moncour from Auburn. Coming next, Angela Williams of USC. After this message and a word from your local station.
America Online. It's like one big family.
AOL's great. It's everything I want, all in one place.
I use my buddy list.
It's incredibly easy. 24-hour customer service. All my friends email.
AOL brings the world to you. It's my guide to the whole internet.
I love finding new music.
Leave me breathless.
I get instant messages from John.
They have parental controls. Very simple to use.
AOL has it all.
Yeah, it's true. We met on America Online.
America Online. So easy to use. No wonder it's #1.
Get ready for action, adventure, and excitement.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
As Hollywood's hottest stars vote for their 100 most thrilling films of all time. See if your list matches theirs. Join host Harrison Ford for the all-new AFI's 100 Years, 100 Thrills, Tuesday on CBS.
You're gonna make a jump to light speed.
TV's most controversial show, Big Brother is back.
I was a stripper.
Find out the new house guest's sexy secrets when Big Brother 2 premieres CBS Thursday, July 5th.
Simon Baker is The Guardian. CBS Tuesday this fall.
We welcome you back to the University of Oregon, Hayward Field, and the current women's standings. The Battle of Los Angeles and the country continues. Southern California in quest of its first women's NCAA championship with 40 points. The Bruins of UCLA currently second in time for one of the glamour events of this competition, the women's 100-meter dash. And Shakita Jones of UCLA, 11.13 in the field. She's running side by side with Angela Williams, the junior from Southern Cal.
And the two-time defending champion in this event. Now this woman has a lot on her mind because in the qualifying heats at the Pac-10 Championships, she false started. Now this is unusual because this woman has been running since age group track and she has never ever false started in her entire life. And also that was an event that USC lost by a few points. A lot of pressure on her from herself.
She runs in lane 4. Right next to her, Shakita Jones, the senior from UCLA.
This is her 4th trip to the NCAA final. She was second as a freshman and has not improved her personal best since then. It is very important that she score as many points as possible for UCLA because they are chasing USC and the events are running out.
And the field, Monica Twom of TCU in 1, Brianna Glenn of Arizona, Muna Lee, LSU. Just a freshman, but great talent, runs in lane 3. Then Williams and Jones, Rochelle Boone of Indiana in 6, Camille Harper of Mississippi State, and Tanisha Jones of Ole Miss round out the field.
You know, Vern, I'm looking down here and I see Muna Lee was born in 81, Angela Williams in 1980, and Shakita Jones in 1979. I was in high school around then.
Some of us were well beyond that.
My, how things have changed.
You can't stress enough how important this is. Last year, USC really had the team championship in the bag, and Brigitte Langer-Holtz in the 800 just blew up because of the heat and humidity. So much pressure on Angela Jones, not only the 3rd time she's trying to win this race, but to try and keep USC in front.
Angela Williams in lane 4 from USC. That's a quick start down for Rochelle Boone of Indiana, but in the middle of the track, here's Angela Williams and Jones. It's Williams and Jones running 1 and 2. Angela Williams holds on and makes it 3 in a row.
I'll tell you, Angela Williams looked outstanding in that race. She got out of the blocks well. She ran well within herself. And if you get a chance in a moment, we're going to get a chance to take a look back at this race. Take a look how smooth Angela Williams was and how choppy Shakita Jones was, and I think that was the difference in that race. Angela Williams always very emotional after a good race.
There's probably no woman in the world that starts faster or better than Angela Williams. And she's out first, and Shakita Jones is behind the whole way and trying so hard to catch up. Williams can time her peak so perfectly, 3rd time in a row that she's won this race. And look at Shakita Jones trying as hard as she can. She beat her in the dual meet last month. Williams not in the conference meet because of that false start Carol mentioned, but Jones has to be happy with a 2nd place finish because that's 8 points for the Bruins. They expected Williams to win this race.
You think she doesn't know what's at stake in this event? Angela Williams, 3 in a row. The brilliant junior from Southern Cal, and she is with Armin Katay.
Angela, 3 in a row, 3rd fastest time of the year. You just blasted out of the blocks.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself. I was getting so shaky in the blocks because I know all the women had such good starts. I had to react really well. Shakita was rolling with me, and I couldn't shake her. I was like, oh my goodness. And that's when my focus came in after the 60 meters to really start lifting and don't give up. I'm done now, thank the Lord.
Now, almost as importantly, it puts USC in the driver's seat for the team title in the battle with UCLA.
Yeah, unfortunately not making it in the 2. I missed out on some points that the team could have got. So I was really determined to make sure that I can get them 10 points for the team total. We're working hard, we're trying to do it. Trying to do it this year.
You did it. Thanks a lot. Vern, back to you.
Well, she's doing a pretty good job, isn't she? Angela Williams, a time of 11.05, wind aided. Shakita Jones of UCLA, 2nd, and Brianna Glenn of Arizona grabs 3rd, 11.21. Just moments before Angela Williams' significant victory, another important event, the women's hammer throw competition completed. That was an important event for UCLA.
Vern, Christina Tolson, winner earlier in the meet in the shot put, continued to aid and abet the Bruins' cause with a life-best second-place throw of 215 feet in the hammer. But the women of Troy kept pace when another of the Foreign Legion came through in the clutch. Hungary's Juliana Tuja, her blonde ponytail swirling with each spin in the ring, finished right behind Tolson in third with her own personal best toss of 210 feet 11 inches.
So the current standings in the women's team competition: USC 56 points, UCLA 5 back with 51, Arizona with 34. Coming up next, a Superman showdown in the long jump when we come back to Eugene.
There's a big herd headed your way, and it's a great time to rope one in. It's the big Montana Roundup. Your Pontiac dealer has a whole corral of new Montanas.
And now you can get 0.9% APR with $52.47 in average finance savings on a 2001 Montana. Other restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Stop by your Pontiac dealer for the big Montana Roundup and kick up some dust with a new Montana of your own.
There's never been a better time to join America Online.
I planned all my vacations. Email is fast, it's easy.
And with AOL's You've Got Pictures, sharing vacation photos is as easy as sending email. Visit AOL keyword Pictures. America Online. Call 1-800-4ONLINE.
We got a big problem.
Problem?
New Roundup.
New Roundup? What now?
It's twice as strong, faster than ever. It'll shrivel you all the way down to the roots.
So we can't grow back? Oh, I feel faint.
New Roundup. No root, no weed, no problem.
I know what your problem is. Sometimes you have to hit it long, and sometimes you have to stick it on the green. Seems like you need a different ball for every shot. Yeah. Actually, all you need is this.
Top Flight XL 2000. Titanium in the cover for explosive distance and tungsten in the core for amazing soft feel.
He won't be needing all these anymore.
Please, have you seen my car keys?
Top Flight XL 2000. Explosive distance, amazing soft feel.
I am a good sport at all times and conduct myself with decency and honesty.
I do my best to get along with others.
And have pride in myself. I put forth my best effort in all competition and always compete fairly. Walk tall, stand tall.
This is your mouse trying to move through one of those other sports sites. This is your mouse cruising through CBSSportsline.com when you've got to know more and fast.
Just put it this way, I'm finna show everybody at CBS that I can fly.
His name is Savante Stringfellow, but he calls himself Superman. The senior from Ole Miss was a 2000 Olympian in the long jump and is the reigning NCAA champion. He's confident and brash, so beware. And he's just getting started.
I'm saving the rest for Mr. Kryptonite.
So enter Walter Davis, also known as Kryptonite. Davis, a 2000 Olympian in the triple jump, and Stringfellow have become friendly rivals. The winner takes possession of Stringfellow's Superman t-shirt.
Go ahead, that Superman shirt. I got that Kryptonite.
When the two met in this year's long jump final, they did manage a few jumps between trash talk.
He'll choke up. You ain't got no heart. I owe you that one. You ain't got no heart. I can win easy. Come on! Look, there's one right there. That's bull. I want to say it is, but I'm not. Gradually move his way up. I got you now. Come on, stand up on the thing. We got things. I jumped 8:18 on the back.
Foul for Walter Davis. Remember.
I am destroying this competition.
Stringfellow destroyed much of the competition, but he edged runner-up Davis, whose best jump was 26.5½. The emotional Stringfellow capped off an illustrious career at Ole Miss by winning his second straight NCAA title with a jump of 27.1¾ He was awarded for his ability, both athletic and comic, by a round of applause from the appreciative crowd.
That's one of the best competitions I've ever had in my life. And I'm glad it could come with my last collegiate meet.
As for his friend and rival Davis,
he's out here every week with me, push me every time I jump, making it fun.
And we move from the long jump back to the track for a very significant event. The current men's standings, Oregon and Baylor 1 and 2, but this battle really between Tennessee with 21 points and TCU with 16. And that's underlining the significance of the men's 100-meter dash, which is next. Leonard Scott of Tennessee, the collegiate leader, with a time of 10.05. He is not, however, in the final. He didn't make it past the semis. His teammate, Justin Gatlin, did.
One of two fabulous freshmen in this final, and a lot of hopes riding on their shoulders. He looked very good in the semifinal, really putting on a burst the last 30 meters, but this is the final. Different story.
And out in lane 6, Kim Collins of Texas Christian.
the Olympic finalist from Sydney last year, is a veteran for the Horned Frogs, one of 3 in this final.
The field for the men's 100, Darvis Patton of TCU, Sean Lambert of Tennessee, Brunson of Arizona State, then Gatlin, Lindell Frater, Kim Collins, Kenneth Andom, and Lewis Turner. That's a quick start for Marcus Brunson, running in lane 3 of Arizona State. Here comes Collins in lane 6, and Gatlin in the middle making a strong move at the finish and got him right at the finish.
Justin Gatlin ran an outstanding race. You can almost call it textbook. He was very relaxed at the start. And as you said, Marcus Brunson got out very, very quickly. But towards the end of the race, he picked him up and put him down and was able to take the win.
That's a lot of composure for a freshman, especially when you consider the amount of pressure on he and his teammate, another freshman, Sean Lambert, out in lane 2. The race was happening all around him. He didn't get the best start, and plenty of people were beating him in the first 50 meters, but he stayed focused on the goal. You can see here right next to him on his right, Lindell Frater of TCU gets a great start, and then Marcus Brunson on the other side of him from Arizona State, the Pac-10 champion, the 100 and 200, right on the right of your screen, also gets a great start. But Gatlin doesn't let any of that bother him. Look over on the left of your screen, Kim Collins working way too hard to try and stay in this race. He didn't look like that in the 4x1 relay, and that's why he lost here.
Every sprinter knows at the end of 100 meters, you've got to stay relaxed. Kim Collins on the left tight, Justin Gatlin loose and winning the race.
Justin Gatlin for Tennessee wins it. Collins of TCU second, and Brunson grabs third. 15 points for both Tennessee and TCU. Let's check in with Armin Katayan.
Thanks, Vern. Freshman in the biggest race of your life, Justin, it certainly didn't look like it.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank God on everything I've done and accomplished, and everybody supported me out here today. And I'm just hoping to put some points on the board. Hope we can bring home the championship.
Well, you certainly put some points on the board for Tennessee. Now you guys are back in the race against TCU.
Yeah. First we were a little scared, we were a little nervous, but we said, hey, just think about like practice, go through everything, go through the motions, drive all the way down the stretch, and we can get the points and win.
Well, you got them. Congratulations. Vern?
All right, Armin. And Gatlin's win on the 100 gives Tennessee 36 points now, TCU with 31, Oregon with 27, but they have no competitors left. When we come back, a retrospective on the University of Oregon, Hayward Field, and the city of Eugene.
The music was called Soul.
So let's hear it. My heart is crying, crying, ha!
The singers were legends.
The Supremes. So let's
The groups were unforgettable.
The Temptations. I've got sunshine on a
Introducing Ed Sullivan's Rock and Soul Classics, new on home video. You'll get the greatest soul performances of all time.
once in my life. I won't let sorrow hurt me, not like it's hurt me before.
Every classic soul video is digitally mastered for the best picture ever.
I feel good. I knew that I wouldn't die.
Start with the sweet sounds of soul. You'll get the Temptations, the Supremes, James Brown, and more. Use your credit card and we'll throw in Motor City Magic, featuring the best of Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, the Jackson 5. But wait, there's more. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll cut the price in half. You'll get 2 jammin' full-length videos for only $9.99.
But if you feel like loving me,
Then you'll have a chance to preview other great videos. Keep only those you want. Cancel anytime. Remember, call in the next 10 minutes and we'll send you 2 rock and soul classics for only $9.99. Ed Sullivan's Rock and Soul Classics is not available in stores, so don't miss out on this once-in-a-lifetime collection. Call now.
Call 1-800-601-9696 to order Ed Sullivan's Soul Classics for only $9.99. Use your credit card and get a second video free. That's 1-800-601-9696. Or send $9.99 plus $3.99 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Call now.
They all dreamed of winning the World Series. Now the top teams in the nation battle to be the best at the NCAA College World Series next Saturday on CBS.
For all of the latest track and field news, log on to cbs.sportsline.com. AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Welcome back to Eugene. Just moments ago, Mary Jane Harrelson, a senior from Appalachian State, finishes first in the women's 1500 meter.
Just as she did 2 years ago, but tried to make the team in 2000, really pushed the pace from the second lap.
Mary Jane Harrelson, the victor. Coming next, the CBS Sports Spectacular rolls out the NTRA Champions Series, featuring the Brooklyn Handicap live from historic Belmont Park. Then superstars Marion Jones and Stacy Dragila head up the competition at the Peregrine Systems U.S. Track and Field Open from Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. We're going to saddle up and make a quick trip down the coast. We'll all be there, but in the meantime, we're happy to be in Eugene, and so is Armin Catay.
Thanks, Vern. You know, like Yankee Stadium is to baseball and Wimbledon is to tennis and Churchill Downs is to horse racing, Hayward Field is the mecca of track and field, home to so many stirring performances and a community hopelessly in love with this sport. It all seems so fitting, preordained if you will, when 18-year-old Alan Webb roared around the final lap and shattered Jim Ryan's 36-year-old national high school mark for the mile, carried by the crowd in the cathedral of track and field. Out here in the heart of the Pacific Northwest, Eugene seems set back in time, home to a kickback college community. For decades, these fading green and yellow stands have been jammed with the sport's most sophisticated fans. At Hayward Field, the connoisseurs come to see the speed and strength, but savor the deeper, more personal truths as well. Sacrifice and solitude, their rhythmic clapping the perfect backing to so many memorable feats. Alberto Salazar, Mary Decker Slaney, Sergei Bubka, Maurice Green, all fell under the spell of Tracktown, USA, and why not? Nike was born here, and pioneering coaches like Bill Bowerman and Bill Dellinger applied their genius. But even today, that's all preamble to the magical, mystical presence one athlete still holds long after his final race. Steve Prefontaine was a cocky, charismatic kid out of Coos Bay who came to the U with fire in his eyes and wings on his feet. By 24, Pre held every American record from 2,000 to 10,000 meters. Alan Webb said before his miracle mile, he visited the rock marking Pre's tragic death by auto accident in 1975 and came away enlightened and inspired. Much like those young and old who every day take to another memorial, Pre's Trail, a 4-mile loop nestled along the banks of the Willamette River. Perhaps somewhere in this pack is someone who one day will follow in the footsteps of Webb, who now follows in the footsteps of Pre, all part of a much larger congregation. The tens of thousands blessed enough to have competed here or visited here, touched by their time in Tracktown, USA, and the Cathedral of Track and Field. Alan Webb says he can't wait to run here again, which he'll do later this month at the USA Track and Field Championship. Well, it appears that the fans, Vern, can't wait as well. They crashed the computer system trying to get tickets to that event. Back to you.
All right, Armin, thank you very much. It really is a very special place in the history of track and field, and Carol and Dwight have competed here many times. What first memories do you have competing here?
Well, that's easy. 30 years ago this month, I competed in my first national championships here as a high school senior. The following year, the NCAAs were held here. I was third for the UCLA Bruins. And then later that summer, I won the Olympic trials at 18 years of age, becoming the youngest member of the U.S. men's team, and went on to Munich to win a medal. Made the team again 4 years later, so there are a lot of special memories for me here at Hayward Field.
Carol, how about you? What comes to mind?
Well, first of all, I have to try to outdo Dwight over here. And I can think back. In 1980, actually, it was a big moment for the Lewis family. My mother and my father, Carl and I, came out to Eugene to compete in our first ever Olympic trials. Both Carl and myself made the Olympic team, and I guess the rest is history, right?
I think it kind of is. Well, I'm a little bit older than my two colleagues here, but I can remember back to 1964, watching on a very small black and white television as Jim McKay hosted one of the first telecasts of the NCAA Track and Field Championships. It's a very special place. And we'll be back to Hayward Field in Eugene to watch Gabe Jennings of Stanford in the 1,500 meters after this.
It's summertime, and there's never been a better time to join America Online.
I planned all my vacations on AOL.
I use AOL to get driving directions.
Email is fast, it's easy.
And with AOL's You've Got Pictures, sharing vacation photos is as easy as sending email. Anyone with any camera, film, or digital can instantly share pictures.
I can store photos online free.
Visit AOL keyword Pictures and try it now. America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call 1-800-4ONLINE.
I know what your problem is. Sometimes you have to hit it long, and sometimes you have to stick it on the green. Seems like you need a different ball for every shot. Yeah. Actually, all you need is this.
Top Flight XL 2000. Titanium in the cover for explosive distance and tungsten in the core for amazing soft feel.
He won't be needing all these anymore.
Have you seen my car keys?
Top Flight XL 2000. Explosive distance, amazing soft feel.
Mounds and Almond Joy, because everybody needs a 5-minute vacation.
That was great.
Let's play one more.
Oh, too tired.
One more, come on.
New One-A-Day Active, the energy-enhancing multivitamin.
Hey, you want to play one?
Just one?
One-A-Day. Get active, stay active.
Gotta be a Grand Prix driver.
The Pontiac Grand Prix with wide track handling. Its wheels are set wide for better control and grip in the curves. Wider is better.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships is sponsored by America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. There's never been a better time to get online. Mounds and Almond Joy, the 5-minute vacation. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
Welcome back to Hayward Field on the campus of the University of Oregon, the 2001 NCAA Track and Field Championship. And moments ago, the men's triple jump competition was completed, and a big surprise, a happy one for the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian University.
Well, Vern, the field events have rarely been a strength of TCU, but they just scored an unexpected 10 points in the triple jump. Jason Howard jumped 53 feet 6.5 inches on his third attempt, good enough for third place, while teammate Abdul Rashid added 4 crucial fifth-place points, as the Horned Frogs of TCU have just taken over the lead in the race for the men's title.
We're back in Eugene, Oregon, and let's take a look at the updated men's team standings. TCU with 41 points, Tennessee with 36, and Oregon 27. And the best time by a collegian this year, 3:37.23. Brian Berryhill, who represents Colorado State University. The defending champion, Gabe Jennings, a junior from Stanford. Jennings, 1 year ago, ran to the beat of his own drummer and had a marvelous, marvelous season. But it hasn't been quite as accomplished for him this time around. As a matter of fact, he did not even qualify to get into the 800-meter race. So important now for Gabe Jennings.
Jennings, one of those Olympians that's just not doing so well, with Michael Stember right next to him, very disappointed in his fourth place finish in the 800. He's hoping to win a title at the NCAA level before he graduates, which basically is today.
And here is Brian Berryhill, had the fastest qualifying time representing Colorado State. He went to high school in Central Point, Crater High in Southern Oregon. Berryhill, Jennings, and Stember, Kamani of Alabama, Juby of TCU, hoping to get into contention. Don Sage of Stanford, then Atwater, Schwabe, O'Brien, Goy of Illinois State, Blinko, Bashar Ibrahim of UTEP.
And everybody has a story in this race. Jennings trying to come back and redeem himself. Stember trying to win a title. And then Brian Berryhill, who has been in this final 4 times, never won it, finally won indoors. His coach, Del Hessel, said, I'm sick and tired of the way Americans run this race. They jog and then kick. I want him to go out and run it hard because that's the only way he's ever going to accomplish anything against the Europeans and the Africans.
He listens. He is out in front. Berryhill followed by Kamani of Alabama.
Well, you take a look at Stember and Jennings, and you have to say again, these kids went to the Olympic Games in October. And what usually happens is when you finish the season, maybe in August, you have a month or so to take some time off. They did not have a chance to do that this year, and I think their fitness is really suffering because of it.
So beat up is Gabe Jennings that his coach Vin Lanana says this may be Gabe's last race of the season, not collegiately, of the whole season. He's maybe going to take the rest of 2001 completely off and try to recover.
And for the moment, it's Brian Berryhill. Wanted to run for the University of Oregon, said he never got a telephone call from them, wound up at Colorado State. And things have worked out well, but what a marvelous accomplishment this would be. And talk about things coming full circle if he could grab this one.
57.8 at the first 400 meters. And I bet you the people at Oregon are kicking themselves every time they see him circle the track here. I'm telling you, as a distance runner and not being able to go to the University of Oregon when you are from Oregon probably was a hard pill for him to swallow, but I'm sure he's happy at Colorado State.
He won 5 high school state titles here in Oregon in the 400 meters and 800 meters. With that speed, he moved up to the 1500 meters. Has been very effective at this meet. He just hasn't won the title in his 4 chances, but he is doing everything he can to change that. He won the mile indoors at the NCAA championships, and he is, as his coach Del Hessel said, out there pushing the pace, and those guys are not recoiling at his pace either.
There, the field very bunched up. That was Christian Goy running in the red uniform from Illinois State, who moved into 3rd, and Joel Atwater from Weber State currently in 4th as Stember drops back.
Berryhill slowed it down a little bit that second lap, threw in about a 60-second lap, and he hasn't shaken hardly anyone. Stember is still looking so tired from last summer. He just never caught up in the 800, even though it did go out quickly. He was just never really in the race. He's now trying to make a move and get in position, as is Gabe Jennings. But it is so hard when you had the year like you had last year. Both of these guys making the Olympic team. They're the future of middle distance running in this country, and it's taken a toll on them both.
Brian Berryhill moved out in front right after the gun. He continues to hold the lead, but Kamani has stayed 2 meters behind him. Goy is running 3rd. Michael Stember of Stanford moves into 4th.
At this point, Berryhill is leading the race. Kamani is right on his tail. That means Berryhill's going to have to remember when he was a 400 and 800 meter state champion and put the pedal to the metal if he's going to shake Kamani. Right now, he looks very strong, but they still have about 300 meters to go.
Jennings made a very strong move into 3rd place. Stember's in 4th, but trying to hang on. Doesn't look like he can close the gap. Berryhill is going to show exactly how much heart he has right here.
Brian Berryhill, 23 years of age, trying to win his first outdoor title, and to do so close to home. This knowledgeable crowd at Hayward Field on its feet, and here comes Gabe Jennings. It's the Oregon native, Brian Berryhill, who will cap a terrific career at Colorado State. Jennings grabs 2nd.
Vern, the amazing thing is that there are a lot of athletes out there like Brian Berryhill. In high school, they were good athletes, but did not get a chance to go to perhaps the schools that they always wanted to. Another school picked them up, and look at this athlete. In a couple of weeks, the U.S. Championships will be back here, and perhaps he'll be the national champion.
Well, the irony of this race is not lost on the people in this crowd. Brian Berryhill pulling away from Kamani. Look at Jennings. He says, I don't have a whole lot of room left if I want to defend my title. Maybe it was tough on me last year, but this is my last race of the season. I'm going to give it everything I've got. But Berryhill, so focused, totally running the game plan that Coach Del Hessel gave him. Say, run it all the way out from the front, and you'll win this race. Jennings doing everything he can to try and catch him, but he just doesn't have the same type of focus that he had last year. Look at Berryhill. He looks so smooth. Look at how hard Gabe Jennings is fighting to try and make up any ground, which he was not making up. Berryhill, a very strong race from start to finish. Jennings has to settle for second.
And let's go down to Armin Katayan.
Brian, you took the lead right from the start, and you were able to hold off Gabe Jennings at the end. This has to be just a wonderful win for you.
Yeah, I can't think of a better place to end it. I love running here in front of my family and friends, and it was a great race, a great day, and I'm just happy to be here.
What did it mean for you, not recruited here to come to Oregon to run, and now to come back and win an NCAA championship?
Like I said before, I really wanted to come here. It didn't work out. Couldn't ask for a better situation than I've had in Colorado State, though. My coach, met my wife there. Everything's worked out great, so.
Well, a storybook ending for us and for you. Congratulations, Brian. Vern.
All right, Armin. Brian Berryhill, married to Tony Zander, just got his degree in forestry, and he captures his collegiate career with the fastest time by an American this year. 3 minutes, 37.05 seconds. Jennings of Stanford finishes second. Kamani grabbed third. Michael Stember of Stanford was fourth. And Njubi of TCU finished seventh and got 2 points for the Horned Frogs. So the updated team standings, TCU with 43 points, Tennessee 36, Stanford also with 36. When we return to Eugene, the multi-talented Michelle Perry of UCLA. That after this message and a word from your local station.
At Geico, we're always looking for faster ways to process your car insurance claims. One idea, airlifting claims adjusters right to the site of the accident. We're over the target.
I don't see the car.
It's that little black dot.
They're all little black dots.
Unlock. Oh, your laptop.
Geico Direct. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
That was great.
Let's play one more.
Oh, too tired.
One more, come on.
New One-A-Day Active, the energy-enhancing multivitamin.
Hey, you want to play one?
Just one?
One-A-Day. Get active, stay active.
I left the truck unlocked. No, his ears were a bit bigger and the nose was longer. Next thing I knew, the truck was gone.
This him, sir?
Yeah, that's him. That's the guy.
Can't get enough peanuts? Get a Payday. Sweet caramel and tons of salty peanuts.
Hang on for the rush of a lifetime. The Amazing Race, CBS Wednesdays this fall.
Welcome you back to the University of Oregon and the men's and women's 2001 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. The women's standings, USC 56 points, the Bruins of UCLA 51 as advertised. It has been a battle between these two Pac-10 women's teams. And the Bruins have counted heavily on Michelle Perry, who's had a marvelous meet.
If competing in one event is difficult, try competing in 9. That's what UCLA Superwoman Michelle Perry is doing here, as she hopes to lead the Bruins to an NCAA title.
Michelle Perry with a tremendous amount of pressure on her from a team standpoint, doing everything here this weekend.
Perry's second ever heptathlon began with the 100-meter hurdles and continued with the high jump. Then she temporarily escaped the heptathlon to compete in the 400-meter hurdles event, but finished a disappointing 7th. After a subpar performance in the heptathlon shot put, Michelle needed reinforcement, and she turned to Coach Bob Kersey.
All of your sweats on, put some layers on, get yourself warm, get those legs warm, okay? You got to get yourself warmed up for this 200. This is your strong event again, okay?
Kersey's words gave her a boost of confidence. She finished day 1 of the heptathlon in 2nd place after winning the 200-meter. Day 2 was similar to day 1 for Perry. More events and more Kersey.
Bobby's been a real inspiration to me because if I didn't have him, I don't think I would have made it through this year.
Whatever this girl gives you, you got to be pleased with, because you know who else is going to be able, you know, in collegiate ranks to do like she's doing here and holding up so well as well and having a great attitude about it. So I'm very, very pleased with it.
In the future, Michelle could become a great heptathlete. On her mind this year, however, was an NCAA title, something that she's never won. But time was running out for the senior All-American. After completing the heptathlon long jump and javelin, Perry still trailed heptathlon leader Ostra Skuta by 243 points with 1 event remaining. Perry finished in 2nd place both in the race and in the overall heptathlon standings.
I'm excited. Now we got to come through in the 4x4. I'm tired too. I need to recover, get warmed up, go out there and perform again.
Michelle Perry can't do anything about the next race. She's getting ready for the final event of the competition, the women's 4x400. The current women's standings, Southern California 56 points, UCLA trails by 5. And next up, the women's 200-meter dash. Significant here that if Kinshasa Davis of USC finishes 3rd or better, Southern California will win the team competition. Mother Sill not in the final, though she has the fastest time of the year. Here's the junior, Kinshasa Davis, Dwight.
Runner-up in this event last year, just a junior. She dropped the baton on the 4x4 at the conference meet, and that ended up costing USC the title there.
She runs in lane 4. In lane 5, the freshman Muna Lee from LSU.
Very savvy freshman. We've seen some fantastic freshmen here. Muna Lee was the National Scholastic Champion at 100 meters last year and ran a blistering anchor leg for LSU to take the Tigers to the win in that event. She's going to be tough to beat.
The field for the women's 200-meter. Shakira Weston of Clemson, Demetria Washington of South Carolina, Myra Combs of LSU. Then Kinshasa Davis, again, 3rd or better in this event, and Southern Cal wins the team title. Muna Lee of LSU is in lane 5. Mickey Barber, Brianna Glenn of Arizona, and Melissa Barber of South Carolina, Mickey's twin sister, complete the field. The women's 200-meter final.
Kinshasa Davis in lane 4, the junior from USC, has a very unusual style. She sort of does the twist with her upper body. She doesn't get all of her momentum going down the straightaway. That's problematic when she's carrying a baton.
Fair start, the women's 200-meter.
And Muna Lee is motoring around the turn. She's already made up the stagger on one of the Barber twins. And take a look at Muna Lee right now.
Muna Lee, the freshman from LSU, striding easily. On the outside, it's Brianna Glenn of Arizona. Brianna Glenn and Muna Lee. Brianna Glenn captures the championship.
And from our angle, it looks like very close for Kinshasa Davis getting 3rd in that race. If that holds up, it doesn't matter what happens in the 4x4 relay. The Lady Trojans will have clinched national championship title, and Davis is officially third, so that's over. But what a great run by Brianna Glenn, who won both the 100 and 200 at the Pac-10 Conference Meet. She won the long jump here, but looking in the white, Muna Lee just scorching the turn.
She really did. She came off of the turn in control of this race. But you know what? You have to think about the fact that Brianna Glenn, who was out of her screen, you could barely see her on the outside. She didn't get a chance to see Muna Lee until they got onto the home stretch. And take a look at her right here. Muna Lee is tying up, but Brianna Glenn was able to power through the finish line and take the win for Arizona.
And let's go down to Armin Katayan, who was with Kinshasa Davis of USC.
Kinshasa, a third place finish, but first overall. Congratulations on a national title.
I just tried to do the best for my team. And we came out here ready, and I just gave it all I got. Made it to the finals. It's a little cold out here, and I'm just happy for my team, and I'm glad we got the title.
Well, you deserve it. Congratulations, Vern.
All right, Armin, the final results of the women's 200 meter. Brianna Glenn of Arizona captures first, Muna Lee, the freshman from LSU, second. But most significantly, Kinshasa Davis of USC grabs third, and with that third place finish, Southern California, under coach Ron Ellis, clinches its first women's team title ever. Angela Williams earlier in the event won her third consecutive women's 100-meter dash. Now she can watch and cheer.
This summer, be quick on a new XR and get up to 500 bonus bucks. Plus, no down payment, no payments, and no interest for 3 months with your Honda card. Or be strong on a Honda ATV and be rewarded with low monthly payments with your Honda card. Or be fast on a new CR and get up to 300 bonus bucks, plus no down payment, no payments, and no interest for 3 months with your Honda card. Be hot, red hot at your Honda dealer.
America Online. It's so easy.
Email somebody.
Send emails fast.
You've got mail.
I've got mail.
Click and giddy up.
Instant messages are so much fun.
A lot of people on my buddy list.
Ding. Hi, Janie.
Customer service is great.
24 hours a day, whenever I need them.
Answers you right away for you.
And there's parental controls.
Chat, instant messages, email.
That fast.
AOL has got it all.
So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Call 1-800-4ONLINE.
So easy. That was great.
Let's play one more.
Oh, too tired.
One more, come on.
New 1-A-Day Active, the energy-enhancing multivitamin.
Hey, you want to play one?
Just one?
1-A-Day. Get active, stay active.
Growing up, all we wanted to do was play. But as the world opened up to us, it became easier to get sidetracked. And just one single bet, one simple step can blow not only your education, but a chance to compete in the sport that we love.
They watch from the stands while their money changes hands.
The only thing worth betting on is ourselves.
Don't cross that line.
What?
Kinshasa Davis needed a third place finish to give USC its first ever ladies team title. Look at the photo finish. Just the width of your thumb and forefinger. She got it by 3/100ths of a second, and that led to an uninhibited celebration in the infield. USC, champions in 2001. Be with us next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time from Omaha, Nebraska, as CBS Sports presents the NCAA College World Series Championship game. Greg Gumbel and Ray Knight in Omaha for the call. Now, Dwight and Carroll with more champions from Eugene.
In the women's 10,000 meters, with only the 12th best time coming into the meet, Arkansas's Amy Yoder Bagley pulled off an upset. She became the first Arkansas female to win 2 track titles in her career. And she had to be helped from the track after collapsing from exhaustion.
Oregon's John Stigler, following in the footsteps of a long line of duck javelin greats that includes former NFL tight end Russ Francis, gave the Hayward Field faithful plenty to cheer about, winning his specialty with a personal best 252 feet 10 inches, becoming the 6th duck to win an NCAA title in the event. The high jump turned into the Battle of Utah. Dave Hoffman of Utah State cleared a personal best of 7.6½, but he was matched by Weber State's Charles Klinger, who entered the meet with the top jump in the world this year. Klinger won the championship in a jump-off to defend the title he won last season.
After winning the long hurdle title in 1999, Baylor's Bayano Kamani finished 2nd last year by 0.02 of a second. With his mother appropriately named Joy cheering him on, Kamani made it back to the top of the podium, along with teammate Michael Smith, giving the Bears a 1-2 sweep and 18 big points. And they had plenty to celebrate.
The 3,000-meter steeplechase is a relatively new event for the ladies, and for the first time ever, it was a championship event here at the NCAAs. Despite having the fastest time in the collegiate ranks coming into the meet, pre-race favorite Elizabeth Jackson lacked confidence. Not to worry, she handled the hurdles and the water hazard with ease. The BYU senior dominated the field to win the race in 9:49.73, breaking her year-old American record by more than 7 seconds and pulling 5 other women under the 10-minute barrier for the event.
The men's 5,000 meters proved to be one of the more memorable moments of the competition. Stanford's Jonathan Riley ran a disappointing 10th in the 10,000. Here, with a loaded field, his chances for victory seemed unlikely. Coming off the final turn, Riley stunned Cal's Belota Esmaran and Alabama David Kamani with a victorious sprint to the finish. It was the high moment of the meet for the defending team champion Cardinal.
South African Jonas Roberts, competing for Southern Methodist, proved to be the biggest of the big men putting the iron ball. Roberts exploded in the final 2 rounds to record the 2 longest throws in the world this year, just missing John Godina's 6-year-old collegiate record of 72.225.
I started out, today was just really cold and I was really tight. And I didn't think I would throw that far, but I'm really happy now.
The women's 100-meter hurdles was one of the closest races of the entire meet. Running in the final for the 4th time, Ohio State senior Donica Merriman finally made it to the top of the podium. She edged out Big Ten Indiana rival Danielle Carruthers by 6/100ths of a second for the victory. The 5'10" Merriman was 7th, 5th, and 3rd in her other visits to the NCAA championships.
And now let's take a look at the current men's team standings. This expected battle between Tennessee and TCU continues. The Horned Frogs with 43 points now. Tennessee and Stanford with 36.
And one of the most significant events of this competition about to take place. The men's 200-meter. Justin Gatlin of Tennessee, fastest time among the collegians this year, 20.29, and he is in the field of 8.
But that is Leonard Scott, the junior member of the Vols football team, who got run down in the relay and did not make the final of the 100 meters. He and his teammate, fabulous freshman Justin Gatlin, who won the 100 meters right on the lane outside of him in lane 5. So Tennessee in 4 and 5. And they really need to get some points here and hope that TCU falters if they're going to get back in this, because TCU doesn't have a 4x4 team, but Tennessee does.
And Carroll in lanes 6 and 7. The 2 young men from TCU, Kim Collins, Darvis Patton.
Now, Kim Collins is an angry young man. He did not have a good 100 meters. He was favored in that event and was only second. Now, he ran that fabulous anchor leg for the 4x100 meter relay team, but he realizes that this is what he's got to do. He has got to put up some big points here because, as Dwight mentioned, they have no 4x4 to count on. And there is Darvis Patton. This man's been all over the place. He was fourth in the long jump. He was part of that 4x100 meter relay team, sixth in the 100, and again back at the 200 meters. He knows what he has to do. Now, TCU is in 6 and 7, Tennessee in 4 and 5. Perhaps Tennessee has a little bit of a better advantage being inside their competition.
And the field, Josephus Howard of South Carolina in lane 1 in the men's 200 meters. Jaworan Hooker of Washington in 2. Kamen Douglas of UTEP in 3. Then Scott and Gatlin of Tennessee. Collins and Patton of TCU. And Marcus Brunson, don't discount him, running in lane 8, representing Arizona State.
As we've mentioned, it's quite cool out here, and this can affect this event.
Yep. And that, I think it was a TCU.
I think it was Kim Collins. And I think Kim Collins realized it was Kim Collins also.
And know that in the collegiate ranks, one false start and you're gone. Unlike the international rules where you get 2 before you're gone. Lane 6 is being told, you'll see here right in the middle of the screen in the purple and white, Kim Collins, the 25-year-old senior. So young man is a relative term here with these guys. The Olympian, 7th in the 100-meter final in Sydney, and he knows that he went too early. Look at there, next to the lane 7 marker, but he's in lane 6. Collins is out of the race. That is huge for TCU's hopes in this team title, and now the Tennessee athletes have got to be buoyed by that information.
But they also have to stay focused too, because they cannot think at this point, okay, Collins is out of the competition. We've got an easy berth to perhaps 2 of the top 3 spots. There are also other athletes in the race that are going to try to take advantage of the fact that Kim Collins is going to be watching this final. When you take a look at Justin Gatlin, but you have to think what Kim Collins is going to think if they lose the team title by 5-6 points. I wouldn't want to be with him tonight.
What a track meet this has been for Kim Collins. He had a brilliant anchor in the men's 4x100, but then he had a very disappointing 100-meter dash. Now he is out of the 200-meter. So lane 6 is open. Collins, the young man from St. Kitts, and how ironic that TCU lost the indoor championship to LSU when they botched a handoff in a relay, and now is disaster lurking again. Look at lane 6. And Darvis Patton shoulders the responsibility for TCU. Fair start. Leonard Scott in 4, Gatlin in 5, representing TCU. No Collins, Darvis Patton trying to pick up points. And here come the volunteers. Darvis Patton runs on the outside. Brunson running in lane 8. And it's Justin Gatlin, the freshman. Here's Gatlin for Tennessee. He grabs first, and I don't know. I think it was Kamen Douglas for UTEP who came in second.
And maybe as importantly, Leonard Scott, after not making the 100-meter final, comes back in the 200, fades badly in the stretch, and probably ends up about 7th. He'll only get 2 points. But the freshman, he doubles the 100 and the 200 his very first year. What a future this kid has.
I tell you, he really does. You're coming off of the turn. There's Gatlin in the middle of the track. Leonard Scott on the right of Tennessee. He is well in control of this race. In the 200 meters, if you come off the turn in the lead, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the race. Take a look at how relaxed he is. Take a look at how much work Leonard Scott is doing. He's going backward. Gatlin is going first.
And that's really the difference between a football player trying to sprint and a sprinter trying to sprint. Look at Justin Gatlin, just a puppy, 19 years old. He blows this field away, gets the 10 for Tennessee, and then second down in lane 3, looks like Douglas. Very bad race for TCU.
Well, Justin Gatlin, for the second time, is with Armin Catania.
Justin, a huge double for you personally, but most importantly for your team.
Yes, I'm trying to keep hope alive. I also win this goal. And dream come true to me. I thank God for everything he's done for me. Yes, before. And
hope to come back next year and do it again.
What went through your mind when Kim Collins false started and opened up the door for you?
I wasn't really worried about Kim Collins or anybody else. Focused on my race. I ain't fired, that's all I was worried about.
Well, congratulations, Justin. Vern?
Oh, Armin, thank you very much. Think about how costly was the false start of Kim Collins. Justin Gatlin grabs first. Cayman Douglas of Utah second. Darvis Patton finishes third for TCU. But we must underemphasize again, or underline again, that TCU has no team in the men's 4x400. Tennessee does. Kim Collins, the 25-year-old senior from TCU. My, oh my, how costly is this false start going to be?
And obviously he thought that that start was so important that he wanted to guess the gun, and it cost TCU potentially the title.
Justin Gatlin doubles. He's the champion in the 100 and 200 meters. And the updated team standings, TCU and Tennessee tied with 49 each. We'll be back.
For America, the war began on a quiet Sunday morning with the ruthless surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. And now, all the infamy, the bravery, and the history of the Second World War is dramatically presented in 3 monumental motion pictures: Tora, 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 The Longest Day, and Patton, an extraordinary video collection that honors the heroes of combat.
Air raid, this is no drill.
In the Academy Award-winning epic Tora, 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 the original story of Pearl Harbor, you'll witness the sudden and deliberate attack on unsuspecting American forces. On the other side of the world, you'll struggle alongside the Allies in their heroic invasion of Normandy during The Longest Day.
Send them to hell.
And in Patton, winner of 8 Academy Awards including Best Picture, follow the American general as he leads his troops to victory.
I am going to be allowed to fulfill my destiny.
For a limited time only, you can own 3 of the most powerful action-packed war films, including a bonus documentary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor for only $29.98. You'll be proud to add to your video collection these magnificent films that so vividly portray the world's darkest days and freedom's finest hours.
God help me, I do love it so.
Have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen now to order Tora, 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 The Longest Day, and Patton. 3 full-length home videos for only $29.98 plus $5.95 shipping and handling. Or send a check or money order to the address shown. Call now.
Gotta be a Grand Prix driver.
Pontiac Grand Prix with wide track handling. Its wheels are set wide for better control and grip in the curves. Wider is better.
From the network that brought you Survivor and the producer that brought you the smash hit CSI comes TV's next great adventure, The Amazing Race, CBS Wednesdays this fall.
Welcome back to Eugene, where the men's and women's outdoor track and field championships continue. TCU and Tennessee now tied 49 points each. But if Tennessee can make it around the track without dropping the baton, they will win the men's title. A despondent Kim Collins of TCU has agreed to chat with Armin Katea.
Kim, obviously a very, very difficult way to end a career. Take me through the false start. What happened?
Well, I was ready to go, but in the 100, the start was very fast. It was the fastest start I ever had, and I wasn't prepared for that kind of start. Coming into the 200, I thought it was going to be a quick start, so I was prepared to go, and I guess I went a little bit too soon.
What was going through your mind as you were watching the race, knowing the impact it would have on the team title?
There goes the championships. That's all I thought. David went just like that.
Just like that, out the window.
That is how the sport is. There's no retakes or no comeback tomorrow. It's a one-time thing. You either in or you're out, and unfortunately, second time in a row I messed things up for the team, and I really, feel bad about myself right now. But life goes on.
Thank you very much for your time, Kim.
Thank you.
All right, Armin, thank you. Classy of him to talk with Armin.
No question about it, but he mentioned in and out. The same thing happened indoors. They dropped the baton on the 4x4 and missed the championship there. Here, if he runs the way he should, he gets 8 points for them. He forces Tennessee to run very well in the 4x4. It's over for them.
And you know, he has no chance to redeem himself. He's a senior, and this is his last NCAA championships.
Unfortunately, his career at TCU will now be remembered as much for his egregious mistake as for all of his many accomplishments. Kim Collins.
This summer, be seen on a Honda Shadow or Magna and be rewarded with 300 bonus bucks from your Honda dealer. Plus low 7.9% APR financing or no down payment and low monthly payments with your Honda card. Or be big on a Honda Valkyrie and be enriched with 500 bonus bucks. Plus low 5.9% financing. Or be gone on Honda's Champion CBRs with low monthly payments from $139 with your Honda card. Be hot, red hot at your Honda dealer.
Roundup. It will be your greatest enemy when you take over the weed family.
Me? Leave the family?
New Roundup is stronger, faster. It kills to the root.
So when I take over, we'll all be dead?
New Roundup. No root, no weed, no problem.
1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that big cat ball. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that big cat ball.
I know what your problem is. Sometimes you have to hit it long, and sometimes you have to stick it on the green. Seems like you need a different ball for every shot. Yeah. Actually, all you need is this.
Top Flight XL 2000. Titanium in the cover for explosive distance and tungsten in the core for amazing soft feel.
He won't be needing all these anymore.
Have you seen my car keys?
Top Flight XL 2000. Explosive distance, amazing soft feel.
You've worked so hard to get here. Keep making responsible decisions about alcohol.
You are watching CBS Sports, the exclusive home of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
Welcome back to Eugene and the final lap of the women's 5,000-meter run.
And Stanford sophomore Lauren Fleshman has really opened up a large gap over the senior Melissa Gully of Texas A&M.
And Carol, this is just the way she won the Pac-10 conference meet a couple of weeks ago down at Berkeley. Just followed along, and then about 2 laps to go, just started to make a very aggressive move to the front. These are the kind of tactics that both the men and women at Stanford, coached by Vin Lanana, are so famous for. That's one of the reasons they won the team title on the men's side last year, middle distance and distance strength.
Well, with 200 meters to go, looks like Lauren Fleshman is going to win her first NCAA title at 5,000 meters, and that would give Stanford a sweep for the event because Jonathan Riley won the men's event earlier.
And expect to continue this domination by Stanford on the men's and women's side. They've got all the talent. They've got a great training program. They've got great weather. This is something that they have got nailed down, including Sally Glenn, who looks like she'll finish 4th in this race just an hour after finishing 2nd in the 1,500 meters. Quite a comeback performance.
And the conclusion of a convincing win for Lauren Fleshman, Stanford University. Women's 5,000-meter run. Fleshman finishes first, the time 15:52.21. Melissa Gully of Texas A&M second, and Kelly McDonald of ASU grabs third. Here's the lineup tonight on CBS. We'll begin with 60 Minutes, followed by Touched by an Angel. Then Oscar winner Julia Roberts stars in the CBS Sunday movie Something to Talk About. It's all here tonight on CBS.
Time now for the women's 4x400 meter. USC has already clinched its first NCAA championship. They are competing in this event, but it does not matter the result, that is. Women's 4x400 meter relay, top collegiate time this year, 3:28.34, set by South Carolina. Here is the young woman who will run the anchor leg for USC, Brigida Langholtz.
And what a great moment for her. She actually lost the team title for the Lady Trojans last year when she faded badly in the 800. She came back, won the 800 this year, and now gets to anchor the team that is going to take home the national title.
USC will run in lane 8. Here the defending champion, South Carolina.
And that's Melissa Barber, one of the Barber twins. Mickey Barber, the last year's 400-meter champion, is not running in this race. That'll hurt South Carolina's chances.
Here are the lane assignments now for the women's 4x400-meter relay. Florida in 1, Baylor in 2, UCLA, Clemson, Texas, South Carolina, LSU, and USC.
And Vern, this race would have been so much more interesting if the team title were at stake. SC and UCLA both in this race, and they got times very similar to one another. So if there was a 1 or 2 point spread at this point, this would really be an exciting finish to this championship.
Looks like Elisa Aiken, the freshman from Texas, moving very well in the middle of the track, already making up the standard on Melissa Barber from South Carolina, as that's SC out in lane 8, Natasha Neal.
Natasha Neal runs in lane 8. Michelle Perry is running the leadoff leg. Here is Natasha Neal in lane 8. Michelle Perry running in lane 3, the leadoff leg for UCLA.
And she is laboring after all of the races she has had to run during this 4-day championship.
Melissa Barber moving up very well for South Carolina. Looks like they're going to hand off the baton right near the lead. Right now it's Clemson out of lane 4, Texas, with Angel Patterson third in the 400-meter hurdles. Texas moving to the front in the white.
Lady Longhorns have always run this event well. Angel Patterson gives Texas a lead. Clemson in second.
That is Clemson in second place. South Carolina fading in third. And remember, Mickey Barber not on this 4x400 team for the Lady Gamecocks. It's all Texas and Clemson as they come down for the end of the second leg.
Sidoni Mothersill moving to the outside to push the Clemson Tigers into the lead.
And here's Marcia Smith now running the third leg for Clemson.
And a lot of bumping right there at the exchange. A lot of the runners coming in are not moving out of the way for the runners coming out. In the middle there, that is Kinshasa Davis of USC. She was third in the 200 meters. That clinched the title for the Lady Trojans, but she ran a very poor leg in the 4x400 at the conference meet, and she is not real happy about having to run the 400. It's not her favorite event, but look at Texas and Clemson. They are really the story in this event.
That is Rayson McIntosh running the third leg for Texas. And for Clemson, it's Marcia Smith.
And Kinshasa Davis is fading badly for the Lady Trojans. She's back there right in the back now. She has just had it. Her championships are over. It's everything she can do to get back down this last home stretch.
Clemson, 1 lap to go. And Shakira Weston will anchor for Clemson. Mashami Robinson anchors for Texas.
Now Mashami Robinson, as you take a look at Brigida Langerholtz, who got the baton for USC well in the back of the pack, but knows that they have already clinched the team title.
And up front, Clemson continues to lead.
Mashami Robinson from Texas was second at 400 meters here, and she's trying to make her move, moving to the outside, bringing the baton home for the Longhorns of Texas.
Robinson on the outside, but it's Weston who holds her off as they come toward the finish. Weston of Clemson finishes first. Robinson in Texas second. And the time, 3:29.97.
And USC comes in last. Brigida Langerholtz running a great 52-second closing leg, but Kinshasa Davis ran 57 seconds for her third leg. There she is on the left. Davis just completely out of energy, but so happy that they were able to clinch the title before this final event. UCLA finishing 6th. If there had been only a 2 or 3 point spread, that really could have been significant. How poorly Kinshasa Davis ran, but it was inconsequential as we see the final finishing straight. And Mashami Robinson, having run second in the 400, must not have had enough gas left. Luckily for Clemson, all their runners were fresh.
Their runners were fresh. Shakira Weston on the inside from Clemson, staying focused and never taking her eyes off the finish line. She knew Mashami Robinson was right there, and at right that point, she realized that they have won the national title.
So the results of the women's 4x400 meter relay: Clemson finishes first, the Texas Lady Longhorns second, and the defending champions, South Carolina, wind up third. But USC wins the team's title, and we'll hear from the champions right after this.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love
Millions have experienced the power.
I will celebrate, sing to the Lord, sing to the Lord.
Millions have experienced the glory.
Celebrate, Jesus, celebrate.
Presenting Songs for Worship, the best praise and worship songs of all time.
Shout to the Lord on the earth, let us sing. Power and majesty.
You'll hear your favorite Christian artists and worship leaders.
Our God is an awesome God.
Rich Mullins, Twyla Paris, Don Moen, Delirious. Get Songs for Worship on 2 CDs or 2 cassettes for just $12.99. Bring the praise and worship experience into your home.
He has made me glad. Oh, he has made me glad. I will rejoice for him.
These are songs that will last a lifetime. Then audition other praise and worship albums. Satisfaction guaranteed. So call now for Songs for Worship.
To order Songs for Worship, use your credit card and call 1-800-537-5100. That's 1-800-537-5100. Or send $12.99 for 2 CDs or 2 cassettes, plus $3.99 shipping and handling to Songs for Worship, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia 23280.
Seabiscuit won it in 1937, and Albert the Great wants to add his name to the long list of truly great horses who have been victorious in the Brooklyn Handicap. Coming up next, the NTRA Champion Series right here on CBS.
We welcome you back to Eugene, Oregon, where the University of Southern California Trojans are celebrating their first ever women's team championship. They win it with 64 points. UCLA finishes second. We go down to Armin Katayan for a continuation of the celebration.
Boy, you're not kidding, Vern. Celebrating is what they're doing right behind me. I'm with Coach Ron Allis. Coach, there's a lot of trophies at Heritage Hall at USC for national champions, but I imagine this one is going to have a very special place.
Women's track and field title ever. And I can't say enough for these kids. They've done a terrific job. We scored in every aspect of the sports, the sprints, the hurdles, the jumps, the distances. There wasn't a part of it. We're a well-balanced program. The last 3 years, we've missed by 4 points the last 2 years. This time they put it together. And let me tell you something. You're as good as the people around you, and my staff did one heck of a job, and these athletes deserve a championship.
Coach, 2 tough matches this year with UCLA. The dual meet you just lost, a tough loss in the Pac-10 championships. You come back, though, when it really counts. What was the difference here?
Difference is, I think there always has to be some bumps in the road. The callus.
And some water. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We got a few bumps there, didn't we?
Yes, we did. No, this is very, very special. The kids have worked very, very hard for this. And I think that everybody has to have a bump in the road. And it calloused us for us. I didn't have to say anything. I haven't had any pep talks or anything. They knew what they wanted to do. And they've been set on this mission. And we had some setbacks. And that made us tough in this meet.
You sure showed it here. Thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Armin, thank you. USC wins the ladies, the women's. TCU and Tennessee tied for the men's team title with 49 points each. But TCU is out of it. Tennessee has a team in the men's 4x400 meter relay. If they finish, they win the championship. LSU, the 2001 collegiate leader, with a time of 3:01.66. And here is Jebra Harris, senior, who will run the leadoff leg for Tennessee.
And as you mentioned, Vern, all they have to do is get the stick around. In fact, get 8th place. But we have seen sticks fall to the ground, and we have seen people run out of their lane. So they're going to be awful careful to make sure they make it around.
They run in lane 2, out in lane 6, Auburn.
Sanjay Ayer will lead off, but their anchor, Avad Mankour, the 6'5" senior from the Bahamas, twice the NCAA champion, the 400 meters, including earlier today. They will be a very strong team.
And the field now for the men's 4x400 meter relay. Ohio State in 1, and Tennessee. Oklahoma runs in 3, Baylor in 4, LSU 5, Auburn in 6, Arizona State, and the Gophers of Minnesota.
We always have to keep an eye on Baylor, and actually, too, they've added Bayano Kamani onto their team, the 400 meter hurdle champion, trying to up their hopes of winning the 4x400 meter championship.
And oh, what could have been if Kim Collins had finished the second place that you would have expected him to. It would have made Tennessee finish second in this race. Really a very large order, probably not one that they could have managed.
It's a fair start, and because of the Collins disqualification in the 200 meter, Tennessee needs to stroll around 4 men handing the baton cleanly.
As we mentioned, that has been a little bit of trouble for some teams in the past, but it's really interesting to see that team from Tennessee is watching their teammates run around the track, knowing that all they have to do is get 1 point.
Jebra Harris, a senior, leads off for Tennessee. Arizona State, the early leaders. It's Michael Campbell running the leadoff leg. That's Minnesota moving up for the moment.
And all Jebra Harris has to do is make sure he stayed in his lane, make this pass in the zone, and make certain the second man for Tennessee, Hassan Stamps, stays in his lane for this full turn and stays out of trouble, and that'll do it for the Tennessee Volunteers. They will be the team champions for the first time in 10 years.
Baylor, the defending champ with the lead, and they've got Bayano Kamani running the second leg. A little struggle there. And Kamani has moved into first place. Arizona State second, and LSU is running third. That's Calhoun.
And Kamani, who's finished in the top 2 3 times in the hurdles, including winning this year, doing a nice job. And Arizona State making their presence known with Marcus Brunson, who's had a very busy day today.
They make the exchange. It was a little sloppy. Now it's Arizona State followed by Baylor.
And Tennessee has made it to the third leg. They're in 7th position right now.
Adrian Wheatley is running third for the Volunteers of Tennessee.
And 6th or 7th is really what they were projected for. So again, I hate to keep belaboring the point, but the disqualification and TCU being out of it really could have changed the complexion of this event completely. But look at Baylor. As Carol said, they're always in it in the 4x4. Clyde Hart, coach of Michael Johnson, and so many great teams at Baylor. It's just a pride thing for them.
It's amazing. They will be dead, but they will put 4 guys out on the track that will run the 4x4.
This is Floyd Thompson of Baylor. Arizona State, LSU, and Auburn in that order. And running the anchor for the Bears, Brandon Couch, a senior.
You know, Brandon Couch, when he was a freshman, they really thought a lot of that athlete, and he really did not have the collegiate career that I'm sure Coach Clyde Hart or himself thought that they would have. So for him to win this particular event would be a big thing. But take a look at Auburn. Moving up is Arvar Moncour of Auburn.
It's Moncour and Brandon Couch. And back in the pack, but safely so, is Dwayne Bell of Tennessee running the anchor for the Volunteers.
This might just be the final insult for Brandon Couch if Avad Moncour catches him, but Couch is holding him off. The pride of the Baylor Bears in the 4x4 continues.
Here's Couch and Moncour at the tape.
From this angle, it looked like Baylor held him off.
It sure did.
Yes, but there's an Auburn celebration.
there is, and I'll tell you, big Alvaro Moncor at 6'5", little Brandon Couts. He held him off. I believe we're going to have to wait and see what happened.
44 flat unofficially for Avad Moncor, which would normally have seemed to be enough to catch Brandon Couts.
And Auburn did think that they had done it. Brandon Couts of Baylor trying to make his way to the finish line, and Alvaro Moncor is just tracking him. But I believe he ran out of space. Couts makes it, just past the line.
1/100 separates the two teams. Not a great time. 3:03.89 is probably one of the slower winning times in the last decade, but Couts leans correctly at the tape, wins it for Baylor by 1/100th of a second. They salvage a little pride out of this 2001 NCAA championship.
Brandon Couts repeats. Men's 4 and the Baylor Bears 4x400 meter relay champions. Guess who finished dead last? But guess who wins the men's team title by 1 point? There's one of them. The Tennessee Volunteers win the men's team championship. They last won in 1991. Where? Here.
And you know what, Vern? Later on, when they put it up, they're going to say Tennessee won. They're not going to tell you how many points they scored.
Not very many.
The final results of the men's 4x400 meter relay. Baylor by 1/100th of a second. It was Couts and Moncor at the finish. Auburn grabs second. LSU moves into third. But Tennessee picks up the all-important single point. We'll hear from the Volunteers when we come back.
This summer, be fast on a Honda CR and get up to 300 bonus bucks from your Honda dealer. Plus, no down payment, no payments, and no interest for 3 months with your Honda card. Or be gone on Honda's champion CBRs and be rewarded with monthly payments as low as $139 with your Honda card. This summer, be hot, red hot at your Honda dealer.
Bon Jovi, One Wild Night, live 1985 through 2001. 15 of Bon Jovi's biggest hits, including It's My Life. Featuring never-before-released live versions of your favorite Bon Jovi songs. The best live performances from over 15 years of touring the world. Call now to order your copy of One Wild Night on CD or cassette. As part of this TV offer, with your paid order, you'll get this limited edition 5-song video from Bon Jovi's Crush Tour, absolutely free. One Wild Night, all of Bon Jovi's biggest hits performed live on one amazing album for the first time ever. 15 of Bon Jovi's biggest hits, 15 of their best performances. Bon Jovi, One Wild Night, live 1985 through 2001. To order Bon Jovi, One Wild Night, 1985 through 2001, call the number on your screen or send check or money order for $19.98 for one CD or $15.98 for cassette, plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address shown. With your paid order, you'll get this video absolutely free. Call now.
CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships is sponsored by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. And by Top Flight XL 2000 golf balls, explosive distance, amazing soft feel.
We are back in Eugene. The Tennessee Volunteer 4x400 team finished dead last, but they picked up the one significant point that gives them the team championship for 2001. Let's go down to Armin Katay.
Thanks, Vern. I'm with Coach Bill Webb and his victorious Volunteers. You were telling me a total team effort here.
Absolutely. We couldn't be happier. We came here in 1991 and won with 51 points. This year, 10 years later, we came and I thought it would take 50 points. We scored 50 on the button. These guys all year have overcome adversity. One guy steps up when another guy falters. It's been fantastic. We're real excited. and I'm happy for my coaches, Coach Watts, Coach Anderson, all the guys here, and we got a good team coming back, so volunteers will be around again.
The thought on the 200, which really broke this whole championships open.
Well, it wasn't just one guy not false starting. It was a series of events, a whole meet. When we step up and get 15 in the 100, and then come back with a great 200 meters, and a couple of freshmen, Justin Gatlin and Sean Lambert and Leonard here, been the leader all year, and all these guys. The mile relay, it's hard to get that stick around when you need to just bring the stick around for 1 point. You think it's real easy, but you gotta, you're a little nervous, more than a little nervous. So I'm happy. I'm real happy for everybody here and our whole team and the coaches.
Well, Coach, congratulations from all of us. A terrific team effort, guys, all of you. Congratulations.
All right, guys.
And we'll add our congratulations to the Volunteers from Knoxville, Tennessee, men's team champions in 2001. Now let's take a look at some of the other champions in the year 2001.
Brianna Glenn was also the winner at 200 meters, and Brenda Taylor of Harvard was this year's Honda Award winner for track and field.
And Arkansas, the perennial team title winner, just won the steeplechase this year. Notre Dame senior Ryan Shea won the 10,000 meters quite easily.
The celebration continues for the USC Trojans, women's champions in 2001, and that celebration no doubt will go on in long into the night. Coming up next on the CBS Sports Spectacular, the NTRA Champion Series featuring the best in classic and turf division horse racing. We'll go live to historic Belmont Park for the running of the Brooklyn Handicap. And superstar Marion Jones heads up the competition as CBS Sports Spectacular.